I'm Aaron Sagers, and this is Talking Strange.
Hey there, spooky nerds, and welcome back to Talking Strange, the Paranormal Pop Culture Show. Once again, I'm Aaron, and this is our minisode. This is Small Talk, our shorter episode of Talking Strange, where I share some listener and viewer submitted stories about the strange and the unusual. But before I get to that, just a programming note. On May 13th, I will be hosting a live stream with Shane Pittman over at the Patreon, patreon.com/Aaron Sagers. Shane Pittman, who you know from the Holzer Files on Travel Channel, as well as 28 Days Haunted from Netflix, which show I was also on. Shane has a new book called Hope on the Other Side of Pain, Grief, Grace, and Ghosts. We're going to be talking about that as part of the live stream. So join in and you'll be able to interact with Shane and ask questions. And we're going to be talking about Beacon TV, the paranormal streaming service that Shane has launched, and about all the exciting things happening over on Beacon and what he has in store. So don't miss out on that. And then while I'm saying it, Patreon, that's a great way to support the show and to get some other bonus content. We're always rolling out bonus episodes of Talking Strange over there, hosting movie watches, trivia nights, all sorts of good stuff. So join us over there. But, okay, this story, speaking of Patreon, comes to us from loyal supporter David. And I recently asked for some ideas about spooky vacations and road trips, and he did not disappoint. He took the request literally and sent me a message with a subject line, Paranormal Road Trip. So let's get to it. Here is a story from David about his paranormal road trip. Greetings to all the spooky nerds out there. When Aaron requested stories revolving around spooky vacations or road trips, I knew I had just the story to tell. The year was 2020. Alicia and I had been planning on visiting Ireland for our 25th wedding anniversary that fall. Unfortunately, we all know what happened there. We decided we had to pivot our plan, and we ended up planning something we had been wanting to do for years, a paranormal road trip. Not only were we going to visit spooky and haunted locations, but we were going to investigate 6 locations over the course of 10 days, with a bonus unplanned investigation thrown in. Looking back on it now, it may not have been the smartest idea. We started our trip out at Allegheny Asylum. Having never done a private investigation on our own, we decided to start with a public ghost hunt. Allegheny was obviously a bucket list location for us, so we jumped at the chance to investigate here. Even though it was a public investigation, everyone was allowed to just spread out wherever they wanted. And as we walked the abandoned halls of the building, you could feel the oppressiveness of the location. We took advantage of the solitude to each try an Estes session in the medical building. While nothing really came through, I could hear lots of movement around us while Alicia was under the headphones. The next day, we took a trip to Point Pleasant, West Virginia, to have a visit with Mothman. After doing all the mothy things, we settled down for the night at the haunted Lowe Hotel. While we were not planning on investigating here, we soon changed our minds. While I was in the restroom, Alicia looked up to see a transparent woman in our room, hovering near the door. I say hovering because she was only visible from the waist up. She quickly disappeared, leaving a surprised Alicia to explain what had happened. We pulled out some equipment, but the woman did not reappear. Our next stop was old Blackford County Jail. What occurred there that night was one of the strangest paranormal experiences I have ever had. While I had tried the Estes method at a few locations, I was no good at it. Alicia, however, really seems to be able to tap into something, and this night was definitely one of the best. During her session, Alicia connected with what appeared to be a spirit that was hanging around the jail that night. Through an incredible Q&A session, I was able to determine that we were speaking with a bootlegger named Brian. We had an incredible back and forth for more than 10 minutes, and in the final minutes of the session, things seemed to be dying down, so I decided to stop. However, upon evidence review, Alicia was able to make sense of what was happening in the last few minutes. It appeared that Brian was no longer speaking with me, but rather he was explaining to another spirit how he was communicating through Alicia. Knowing this now, I really wish I had kept going. Over the next few days, we investigated several more locations, such as Randolph County Infirmary, Whispers Estate, and Fowler Theater. Each of these locations provided interesting experiences, but nothing was as exciting as the previous three. That is, until we made it to our final location, Farrar Elementary School. The experiences we had there were enough to have us return multiple times over the following years, and it has never disappointed. After receiving our tour from Will, the groundskeeper, we were left alone in the school. Sure, the owners lived in an apartment on the main floor, but we never saw nor heard from them at any of our visits to the property. We walked the abandoned halls again, deciding where we wanted to set up our various pieces of equipment and where we wanted to begin investigating. After investigating some of the classrooms, we had not had any activity. I was getting discouraged. We made our way up to the third floor auditorium to set up for an Estes method session. I had settled into a chair for my Estes session, pulling the blindfold over my eyes and putting on the headphones. As I stated before, I did not have much luck with this, and this night was no exception. After a few minutes of not getting anything, I felt my arm was tapped hurriedly. Pulled off the headphones and blindfold, but was still blind because I didn't have my glasses. I asked Alicia what was going on, and she told me that she had heard a whistle and was concerned somebody was on the floor with us. I quickly grabbed my glasses and we searched the third floor, but there was nobody there. Alicia told me that she had heard the whistle coming from the back of the stage that I was sitting in front of, behind some partitions. Realizing that we had equipment running in the room, we grabbed the voice recorder and the whistle was plainly heard. We would later learn that the whistle was recorded on our video camera in the hallway as well. After that, we decided to move to our next location, the principal's office. While there, I sat down in a chair next to the closet. I decided to try some very light provoking to try and get some activity. I said out loud that I've been a bad boy, but my mom can't come and get me. She's in another state. As soon as I said that, the closet door next to me shook violently, as if something was trying to get out. Alicia gave me that "don't you dare leave me" look, and we settled down and continued investigating. Nothing else occurred. However, upon evidence review, we did hear plenty of sounds from lockers being closed loudly throughout the night. Embarking on a trip like this made me wonder, was the fact that we were constantly reaching out to the other side over the course of a week and a half, calling more spirits or entities to us, wanting to communicate? Were we gaining street cred with the spirit world during this trip, culminating in the activity we experienced in Farrar? Was the woman from the Lowe Hotel, bootlegger Brian, and all others tagging along to have a big party for our final night? Who can say? What I can say is that this trip is one I would love to repeat again now that we are more seasoned investigators, just to see what kind of results we would get a second time around. Stay spooky, David. All right, David. Thank you for sharing that story. What a great story it is. I love the idea of the paranormal road trip. I've done this myself, and they really knocked it out of the park. They were overachievers with so many locations. Anyone out there have something like this? Have you done an extended, prolonged paranormal road trip? Have you had any experiences that emerged from it? What do you think about David's and Alicia's story of seeing the woman, the torso floating in the hotel, or the whistle, disembodied whistle? And I have to say, I was quite amused by David sharing his story of, I've been a bad boy, but my mother cannot come pick me up because she's in another state. So maybe that would have been interesting if he got the whistle there. I guess that been a bad boy is open to interpretation, both in this realm and in the spirit realm, perhaps. And I do like David's question about, does this prolonged investigation over the course of several days, did they create a paranormal party of sorts? Maybe all of the spirits tagged along and joined them. I do find in my own journeys that when you're on the road for a long time investigating, it does seem like activity does accumulate and ramp up. It's almost like, I don't know whether you're more receptive to it, you're tuned in for a longer period of time, like you got that radio station, you locked in on that radio station, and then you're just hearing things a little bit more clearly, you're paying more attention. I don't know if it's that, or just more things decide they're going to start popping in. So what do you think out there? I want to hear your stories. Remember, you can submit them to contact@talkingstrange.com. Send me your stories. Let me hear from you. And it doesn't just have to be ghost stories, aliens, encounters with strange creatures, or maybe Bigfoot, or humans that just didn't seem quite right and you knew they didn't belong in some way. Share those stories with me. Nothing too weird for me. And nothing too weird for Talking Strange. Okay. This has been Talking Strange Small Talk, the minisode. Until next time, be kind, stay spooky, and keep it weird.